Hello, Bridge Builders! I'm here with some exciting news. The first volume of interviews is now available on Amazon.com. The link can be found at EatLunchandBoardGame.com. I promise that all proceeds from sales of this book will go right back into this podcast and channel. Whether that is new and better audio equipment for the podcast, or video equipment for the YouTube channel, or even more games to review, the money will not be wasted. Click over to Amazon and get your copy of Eat Lunch and Board Game, the first course today. And thank you for supporting the show. All right, welcome back to Eat Lunch and Board Game. I'm your host, Adam Collins, and with me today I have Etsy shop owner Katie Pierce. How are you doing, Katie?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, it's great. I reached out to you. I bought a pattern off of your Etsy shop that I decided I was going to make, and you had a lot of board gaming themed patterns. So I thought, maybe she's a board gamer and would like to be on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what gave it away. But yes, I do enjoy board games.
Nice. So what is your Etsy shop name?
It's called Komodo Stitches. Yeah, and we have all sorts of cute little patterns for gamers. If you look it up, make sure you do it as all one word, Komodo Stitches, because if you do it as two separate words, you get articles about people who have been attacked by Komodo dragons and need stitches. And that is a lot less cute.
That's not exactly what I think they're looking for.
I hope not.
So how did you get into gaming?
Well, my parents were both super into games. So my sister and I didn't really have a choice. We were indoctrinated quite young. So I've been playing board games my whole life. And honestly, I am so grateful to them because, it's been great. It's a wonderful hobby, and I've met so many amazing people through it. So thank you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, I feel bad for my kids. I've got two of them right now that are 2 and 8. And my 8-year-old's all about gaming all the time. And my 2-year-old, she knows where all the dice are. So she's always, she's like, she comes upstairs and she's like, dice, daddy, dice. And I'm like, I feel like I've raised you right, maybe, I hope. But, she does like her dice.
Well, my father was actually part of a board game club back in the day where he and all his friends would get together after work and have a few beers, go at someone's house. And I thought this was like the coolest thing in the world. And I was like a 7-year-old. It is, right?
It is the coolest thing.
But they wouldn't let me play because, I was 7 and couldn't drink beer and stuff. So I used to just hide at the top of the stairs and just listen into whatever game they were playing and wish I could be part of it.
No, that's awesome. So you're in Canada, and you said it's really cold up there right now, which I'm sure it is. Do you have a lot of snow on the ground?
Yep. It's been a crazy winter for snow, which there's a pandemic going on, so we're not really going anywhere, which is lucky because I'm not sure we could right now with all the snow.
Oh, that's it's unfortunate. Yeah, we had a lot, and like I was telling you right before we started recording, 1 week ago we were at 1 degree Fahrenheit. And now we're in the mid 40s, and tomorrow's supposed to be 60. I don't know. It's part of living in the Midwest, the United States. Here is you can experience all the seasons in the same day. So assuming there was no pandemic and I came over to your house, what game is sitting out on your table that we would play?
Honestly, at the moment, it would be Star Wars Imperial Assault. And that is because it takes so long to set up and put away that we tend to just leave it out for weeks at a time.
I have a friend that I say he's lazy, but I think he does the same thing with Terraforming Mars. He never puts it up because it takes so long to put it back out.
Some games you just have to commit.
Just buy a whole new table at that point. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we gotta go get a new dining room table. The last one got taken over by a board game I don't intend to put away.
Yeah. We're gonna end up with 9 or 10 tables all our favorite games.
Who needs a living room and a family room and the extra bedroom? They're all just full of tables and games. Now that's a house right there. That's a
You get
house.
it. You
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife keeps telling me I can't have this table and I can't have that table. I got to keep it all to this one table. And I'm like, I need more than one table. So for your day job, do you board game at lunch?
So the funny thing is that answer used to be no, because I work from home. So my only co-workers are my two cats, and they've never really got the hang of board games, unfortunately.
No, they knock a lot of stuff to the floor though for you.
That's a game all in itself. But again, with the pandemic, a lot of my friends have also started working from home. So we started doing online board games.
There you go. What are you playing?
We've been playing a lot of Wingspan, which I'm sure is a pretty common answer at the moment, but it's an amazing game. We love it, and it just came out with this awesome new online version, which is fantastic.
Nice. Yeah. We played that at work a couple of times. I like the bird house dice tower that it comes with.
Yes. And all the artwork is so beautiful. It's just so much fun to look at.
Yeah, it's very pretty. So what is your go-to 60-minute, 1 hour? If you had a full lunch hour, what game you playing?
Well, again, Wingspan is hard to say no to. But we also play a lot of Betrayal at House on the Hill. Is that how you say it? Betrayal at the House on the Hill? It's a weird title. It's a weird game, but I love it.
It's always good until the betrayer happens, and then all of a sudden it becomes cutthroat.
Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't quite work out too well. The betrayer is very stacked. He just gets to kill everyone. I know it's sometimes doesn't always work. It's a mess, but it's fun and it's a good time always.
I enjoy that one. So if you had the lunch half hour, a 30-minute game, what game are you going for?
I've been playing a lot of Azul lately, which is a really nice, short little game. And I love it because, it's so easy to teach to people. I find it so intimidating when you're trying to teach someone a new game and you pull out like this 50-page rulebook. And it's just like, well, where to begin?
Hang with me, you'll get it.
Exactly. So it's just like, well, the first game, it's just a practice game. You'll get it eventually. But Azul you can teach in like 5 minutes. People get it straight away, pick it up really quickly, and it's a lot of fun.
No, it's another good one. I like that one. So micro games, small games. You have a favorite micro game?
Yeah. Tough to choose. I really like The Little Prince or Le Petit Prince. Do you know that one?
I've heard of it. I actually just saw it pop across somebody's Facebook page yesterday.
Oh, how funny. It's a really cute little game where you're building a planet. And it's actually got a lot of mind games with whoever you're playing with, which is always fun in a micro game.
So, Kickstarter. Do you get involved in Kickstarter?
Not generally, and that is because I am too impatient. I see a really cool looking game on Kickstarter, and it's like, I want it right now. Please, just in front of me.
Don't like the journey, don't like the waiting.
Games I've backed.
Yeah, that's...
I can't handle it. Nope. I just want to go down to my local game store and just have it immediately.
There you go. I understand.
But I have backed some games.
Nice. No, I
Red Dragon Ing. I've backed a lot of those, and Scythe is a lot of fun. So some of the bigger ones I can't resist.
So a hidden gem or a guilty pleasure game?
Ooh, well, a hidden gem. My Etsy store is called Komodo Stitches, so I thought I'd talk about a game of dragons. So I'm going to talk about Aladdin's Dragons, which is an older game. Most of my friends don't really know it, but it's a really, really fun game. Again, it's got beautiful artwork. It's got dragons, which it already makes it pretty cool. And the gameplay is really fun. You have tiles from 1 to 9, and you're secretly bidding them on a bunch of resource locations on the board. So you'll see someone else put a tile down, and you won't know if they put a 1 or a 9. So it's really hard to try and figure out what you should invest to win that resource.
Very interesting. Aladdin's Dragons. I wrote it down. I always write down all the games that everybody always says is their hidden gems or guilty pleasures, and I'm always like, ooh.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
That's where I get in trouble.
For a guilty pleasure, I would also say Camel Up. I don't know if you know Camel Up. It's so much fun.
I love Camel Up.
Do you?
I love
it's so
Camel
good.
Up.
I always feel a little embarrassed when I'm trying to explain it, and I'm like, so it's it's a game about camel racing. They can climb on top of each other.
Exactly. They stack. It sounds weird, but it's cool.
Exactly. You
shake a pyramid. You shake this pyramid and push a button and it pops out a die. It's great. Yeah. Actually,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have a board game cafe here, and a person with my company was in from out of town, and she's a huge board gamer, and so we were like, hey, let's all have dinner down at the board game cafe. So we're all down there. There's a big group of us. We have like 2 or 3 different games going on. And I saw Camel Up sitting on the shelf. I'm like, ooh, I want to try this game. And so we went and got off the shelf. And as we were because it's a very, very simple, very straightforward game as far as rules and explanations. And so we were like, oh yeah. So we were kind of reading through the rules and everything, and we're like, okay. And then, like you said, it's like the camels are stacking up on top of each other, and you got. They break apart and go back together, and you're like, this game is silly, but it's so good. It's so good.
And you know what? It keeps us on our toes. We never know who's going to win. It turns out pretty intense a lot of the time, which is not what you'd expect.
Right, you throw all your money. It's going to be the blue one, and you're throwing down all your bets on the blue one, and then he comes in last. You're like, what happened?
How did that happen?
Yeah. How did he fall so far from grace? Oh man, yeah, that is one of my favorite ones. That would be it's a good guilty pleasure. I gotta say, that's a good one.
So it's always a good time if I can persuade people to play it. But I still have a few friends who just look at it and they're like, "Really? Do we have to play this one?"
You want to play a game with camels?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, so a question I always like to ask people is, how do you pronounce Klaus Teuber's game, The Settlers of...
Oh, no. Oh, this is such a scary question. It's so controversial. I say Settlers of Catan, but I don't think that's correct, is it?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I've been doing it wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. What is it?
No, it's funny, like... Catan is how I say Catan, but it's so funny because it's like you said though, it's so like controversial. It's like the question, like how do you say it?
It is.
I'm gonna buy that shirt. I keep talking about it, but I'm gonna buy the shirt that says it's pronounced and just has the word, no accent marks, no phonetics to help you out. It just says it's pronounced and just has Catan, Catan right on the chest. I think it's great. I think it's one of the funniest shirts I've ever seen. I wonder if that's in an Etsy shop somewhere.
I'm sure it is.
I spend a lot of money on Etsy.
It's a wonderful, magical place.
I'm just curious, like, do you get a lot of hits? Like weekly, daily, monthly? Does it come in giant waves?
It absolutely does. It's ever so strange. I can't predict it. Some weeks will be quiet and some weeks will be absolutely packed. And it's never the weeks you expect. But it's always fun. I get lots of messages from really cool people that are just a delight to chat with. So I love it. I love having a store on there.
Yeah, I used to be bigger into cross stitch and then kind of got out of it. And then my wife does crochet late at night, when the kids finally go to sleep. She'll be like crocheting a blanket or something, and she's like, "You gotta get back into cross stitch." I was like, And then I went to Etsy and just typed in board game cross stitch, and up popped all these wonderful cross stitch patterns, and I'm like, maybe I should get back into cross stitch.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, like I said, and I showed you earlier, I got the Prepare to Game is the one I've purchased from you so far. I loved it with the little meeple all armed and ready to go to battle. And I finished it. I'm going to turn right around and make the same pattern again. I really I really like the pattern. They're so cute, so fun. Even though for some
Oh,
reason
thank you.
my yellow thread hates me. I don't know what it was with the yellow thread, but man, it hated me.
Oh no. There's always that one color that just wants to be difficult.
Yes, and that was yellow. I like the like all the D&D theme ones you have going on too with the different
Yes.
D20s and stuff, and so I'll be
Oh,
getting a
thank
couple
you.
more here once I get kind of caught up. But yeah, I wondered, I got it, and I was like, man, this is so much fun. I'm glad I got back into the hobby of cross stitching. It's very relaxing. I enjoy it,
It is.
except when the
Yes.
stupid yellow thread gets tied up on its thing, and then you get all mad and frustrated. I also want to thank you for not having any French knots in there. I hate French
I do.
knots. They hate me.
I don't like French knots either. I really don't. No, no. What I am going for with my store is very simple patterns. Gifts. I really love making cross stitch gifts for people. And if you're making a gift for someone, you don't want to spend 6 months on it. Generally, unless you're more generous than I am, So I am for like easy, simple, quick patterns that people can just, they're fun to make. Keep it fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I love it because you can see it come together as you kind of work your way
Yes.
across, and then I'm kind of scatterbrained, and so I started on the top with the dice, and then I got to a certain point where I could count down to the P for prepare, and then I was like, oh, I can count down to the T for two, and then the next thing I know, I've done all the meeple across the middle. I've got like just PRE at the top, and I'm like, I'm all over the place, but
Do you ever have that moment where you're just like convinced it's all gone wrong and you just kind of have to like power through it until it
yes.
starts looking correct? I have that every time,
Or
even
you
though I'm
keep
like counting and counting and I'm like, this doesn't look right. Something's not right here.
Yeah,
But
I had that happen in this one where I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't count four. And I'm like,
oh no.
you keep going back and counting, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, okay. No, it doesn't look right. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it is right. And but I kept counting it in. So,
It always works out
but
in the
yeah,
end. You just got to power through it.
yeah. Trust your ability to count to 4. And the one thing I really liked about it is I try to use up a lot of the colors that I already have, but you picked a color called electric blue, and I was like, well, I have a lot of blue, but I'm like, but this one's called electric blue. So I
I
had to go
know.
to the local shop, the local hobby shop, and pick up electric blue because I'm like, I want to see this color. It is great. It is it is appropriately named electric blue. I love it.
I'm so happy you like it. I use it in so many of my pattings. It's my favorite blue, and the name is just perfect. It sums it up so well.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, I was like, I had all the blues, and I'm like, but this one says electric, so let's see what this one's all about.
I remember the first time I realized I could combine cross stitching and board gaming. And it was like, but what if I take these two hobbies and just put them together and start making board game patterns? And it's just been amazing, Because cross stitching, when you start out, I was there making, like the flowers and the bees and all the traditional patterns. And then you go to Etsy and you find that there's this whole new world of cross stitching available.
Yeah, you go to Etsy, and all of a sudden your wallet just has no money left. No, I'm waiting on my next friend to have a baby because I'm going to get the congratulations on your new party member. I'll be
Oh,
getting that one.
thank you. Yay.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. And I just, like I said, it's so fun. I started off doing them years ago, doing like wedding samplers, and then doing like families, kind of like,
Great.
like the mom, the dad, and the kids and the pets and all that. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
just, like I said, I don't know why. I just kind of got out of it. And then my wife's like, you should get back into it. And I'm like, well, let's go see what Etsy has. And Plenty.
Yes, lots.
And it's been a blast.
Lots to choose from.
Well, Katie, I'd like to thank you for coming on today and talking with us. And if anybody wanted to reach out to you, Komodo Stitches on Etsy.
Yes.
Make it one word, not two. We learned that, right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Adam. This has been amazing.
Well, thank you so much. And anybody wants to reach out to me, you can always find me on Facebook at facebook.com/eatlunchandboardgame or email me at eatlunchandboardgame@gmail.com. And until next time, keep building those bridges.
Average Joe's Gaming is a weekly podcast brought to you by us. I'm Joe.
I'm Tom. We talk about all things game-related. In this hour-long podcast, you'll discover what has arrived in the game room,
which Funko Pop Tom just could not resist, and maybe, if you're lucky, we might get around to talking about games.
Might.
Tune in weekly. You can find us on all of your favorite podcast formats.
Stay in tune with all things sports around Indiana and the nation with the Crash Course Podcast. Each week, we tackle the big storylines from the world of the Colts, Pacers, and the Indiana college scene, while also keeping a pulse on the nation. We record live weekly at twitch.tv/3C Media and can be found on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts can be heard, you can catch the Crash Course Podcast.
When you're gaming, why not be comfy? Go over to supportplayer.org. Click on the cards, pieces, and dice to get some merch. These t-shirts are some of the most comfortable I have ever worn. That's supportplayer.org, and there's a link on eatlunchandboardgame.com.